everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
That's right, everyone. Your favorite fantasy football team is once again in the fantasy championship. The Golden Griffins.
The Golden Griffins made it, and that's going to be without Christian McCaffrey for basically the entire playoff here.
For most of the season, Chris.
I forgot that he's only... I saw that earlier today. I saw that he played only 3 games. I was just like, fuck, really?
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like he's been in the conversation so much.
He's been in the conversation because he seems to be just so consistently really close to playing and then just not.
Yeah. Wow.
So, thankfully, I've had Mike Davis, who hasn't been as good as McCaffrey has been, except for a couple weeks, but is good enough in a pinch.
Sure.
The funny thing is, this unfortunately is going to be the last year of this Dynasty League just because too many people are going to be quitting because their teams suck, or B, they don't want to put in the time or overestimated the time that they would have to spend in a Dynasty Fantasy Football League.
Right.
So I really want to win. I was eliminated first round of the playoffs my first year. That by like 1 point, and if I had won that matchup, I would have won the championship. Just based on what my points were the next couple weeks. Last year I won, and this year I will get at least second, and I want that to be a victory.
Sure. I mean, if you're already in the final, I mean, I feel like that's already a victory. It shows that.
Yeah, I will have some monetary gain from this.
Right, exactly. But it's all said and done.
Yep.
Now, who has been your most consistent fantasy player on your team?
So I actually don't think I have an answer to that question because a lot of them have been up and down.
Okay, interesting.
At the start of the season, it was Russell Wilson, but Russ hasn't been playing that good lately. So I'm playing Lamar Jackson in the championship as a result.
Sure.
You would be surprised, though, that one of my most consistent, especially the past few weeks, well, maybe not if you know the player, but David Montgomery.
Well, we'll talk about that. The Bears have shown a little bit more consistency lately, and David Montgomery has been a main reason for that. So absolutely. It is a surprise at this point, but considering the last few weeks, it's definitely it's good to see that he has kind of earned his stripes for the last few weeks as a bona fide fantasy player.
What is really funny is that before the season started, we disbanded. We went from 12 teams to 10. And we all got to nominate players for us to bid on to add to our teams before the season started. And Zeke was one of them, Ezekiel Elliott. And I decided, you know what? I don't want my team to be too overpowered because I had just won and I want to make this league like fun and competitive. So I won't bid on him. I'll go for like a David Montgomery instead. Guess who's been the better fantasy player this year?
It's been Montgomery, yeah.
Not even close.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Well, congratulations, and I'm sure you'll end this run on a high note, and you'll be a free agent next year, and I'm sure any league that is looking for a competitor will want to pick you up, and sign you to a long-term deal.
My final starting roster is going to be Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, Mike Davis, Mark Andrews, and then if Zeke isn't playing, Tony Pollard. Otherwise, it's either going to be Tyler Boyd or Darrell Henderson or Zach Moss. Something like that.
Yeah, some sort of combination.
Some combination of that.
Yeah. If you'll get it. We'll work it out here. I'm sure.
It's going to be close. I think last year I had a kind of an easy win in the finals. This year, not so much.
Yeah,
it's going to be close.
Yeah, with everything being as inconsistent as it has been, who knows ultimately. But anyways, definitely, this is gonna be a big weekend for you fantasy people out there. I know that we haven't really focused too much on fantasy this year, and that's okay because
that's fine.
I'm sure you have many other outlets that you can get your fantasy analysis from. But good luck to everyone who's competing in the championships this weekend. And along with this weekend, it is the holidays. Welcome, happy holidays, everyone! Merry Christmas Eve. This is going up on Christmas Eve for those who celebrate Christmas. It's been a very rocky road, very rocky year to get to this point, and for all of us that made it, it is a blessing. And of course, a lot of us today or this year also have heavy hearts, and our hearts go out to everyone that is celebrating with some sorrow this holiday season. Everyone's assuming that 2021 will be better, and yeah, let's fucking hope. I'm not gonna place bets down, but things hopefully will turn around, and let's just enjoy the holidays as much as we can.
Yeah.
And with speaking of the holidays, later this segment, this podcast rather, we'll be doing we'll be returning to mascot debates, but we'll be taking a holiday twist on that. And of course, we will of course do our Week 16 picks and recap the VBBFL Week 6 slate that happened on Saturday. But first things first, we gotta recap Week 15, and it was a doozy.
Very much so.
For various reasons, and I want to start with the game of the week. And I think we've definitely had a TNF matchup on game of the week before. I think so. I could be wrong.
It's not very often though.
It's not very often, and it's hard for us to maybe even remember a TNF matchup because of so many other football games before it. But to me, Chargers Raiders was the game of the week. Just from the pure the chaos of the game itself was insane. And if I could even remember half of what happened, I'll try to, because I wrote down the game of the week stuff beforehand. But essentially it started out, and like the Chargers had a strong start. Then the Vegas Raiders, they ended up coming back, and in the middle of the game, in fact very early on, Derek Carr went down with injury, and Marcus Mariota ended up coming in at quarterback, and he ended up playing lights out. He was having a pretty solid game, which was not expected from Mariota, and he was playing better than Derek Carr had been playing over the last few weeks. And along with that, Justin Herbert, who continues to be this dynamite, like super ridiculously accurate quarterback, also playing lights out. And it was a mess to get to the Vegas tried to try to get the game-winning field goal, and they ended up setting up shop at like the 50 or something like that, or 50-yard line to try to kick the field goal. Did not work out. And then after the Vegas marched down the field again in overtime, decided to kick the field goal instead of go for the touchdown. And the Chargers then marched down. Fumbled the football inside of the end zone, recovered the ball, and then punched it in for a touchdown to get the upset. This would have been team chaos, but other chaos happened, and we'll get to that.
Another chaos, but kind of took priority.
Yeah, but what's from what you remember of the game, what was your takeaway from this?
I loved it a lot. I love just seeing chaotic football, hence why it's the name of our production company.
Yes.
And seeing Mariota come in and play well was a fun surprise, and just seeing the Chargers like show signs of life for the future too is a good thing to see as well.
Yeah, Chargers. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago that they were completely destroyed by the Patriots, and then things started to come to life a little bit more against the Falcons. And then this game came through, and as for the Raiders, I mean, you're now 7-7, and this week, a loss is gonna do you in. You're gonna be out of the playoffs.
And it is that last loss was already like really bad for them.
Right, yeah, against the Colts, it was like, even then it was dire, and then with the Chargers, losing to the Chargers was even worse. They're I don't think that they're going to be in a scenario where they're going to like where they're gonna have what happened to them back last year, where they had like a Week 17 scenario that was so absurd that like there was no way it was all gonna kind of come together, but I guess it could have. And then they ended up still being like third place in their division behind the Broncos. I think that they'll still be second, but it's all said and done. But it's gonna take kind of a miracle at this point for them to get to stay in the playoffs race.
At all.
Yeah. They're gonna need the Ravens to lose out. They're gonna need the Dolphins to lose out, and they're gonna have to win out. It's just how the cookie crumbles for them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The blowout of the week, Jaguars at Ravens. Not much to say with this one outside of the fact that, there is something to say, but I think it will pair with the last game in this one. But Ravens, of course, they're building some momentum. Do you expect this team to lose down the stretch at all right now?
I mean, given that their last two matchups are against the Giants, who could have a tough defensive thing going on, and the Bengals, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, they're not only like maybe a few weeks ago you may have been a bit more willing to say yeah they could, but they've been playing so good the past couple weeks. Lamar seems fully recovered from his COVID bout, and the team in general just is really solid and playing together.
Yeah, and right now the way the playoff picture is structured, the Ravens are outside of it, but the Dolphins have to deal with the Bills, the Colts have to deal with the Steelers, the Browns will have to deal with the Steelers. I know, and of course we'll talk about the Steelers in a second here, and if that's even going to be a major threat for teams at this point. But that there is an opportunity for the Ravens to get back into the playoff mix here, even though it's a little bit out of their control at the moment. They could get that stuff back in their hands this week. Okay, so why else is this game significant? Well, the Jaguars lost and moved to 1-13 on the year, and they are
happened, folks.
Well, now they're in the number one overall pick in the NFL draft temporarily, which you may be wondering. Well, no, the Jets have had that, right? No, not anymore. Because the
Jets won a football game this year against all odds, facing a playoff-bound team. A likely playoff-bound team, I actually should clarify.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, the Jets won against the Rams. The Jets were like some other previous games with the Jets. They've had this streak where they would score early and lead early, but then they would blow it. And it seemed like the Rams were going to. It seems like the Jets were going to blow it again. But even though the Rams scored 17 points in the second quarter, it did not work out, and the Jets were able to get a first down and get the victory. And
the Jets forgot to blow it.
It is wild. It's wild because I think we were just kind of getting the feeling sunk in where it was just like, okay, I mean there's been some hope spots here and there, but more than likely this team is gonna go 0-16. I was not expecting this because I think, especially from the front of how the Rams have been playing as of late, their defense was starting to look strong. Their offense was still a weak point, but not as weak as it seemed. I mean, my goodness, this was a disastrous performance especially on the offense for the Rams. And the Rams are still in control. Like, they win their next two games, and they are the NFC West champs. So it's not hugely detrimental to their playoff hopes. But they do have the Seahawks and Cardinals on their schedule.
Two other teams currently in the playoffs who want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so with that, it is going to be a fascinating to kind of see how the rest of that NFC West race is going to go. I mean, the title could be decided on Sunday when the Seahawks win, or if the Rams win that game, which Sean McVay has had a obscene successful record against the Seahawks. That race will push to week 17. But yeah, it does make you question, like, even if the Rams do make it, how far can they go if their offense is just not going to be where they want it to be at this point.
Yep.
On the Jets front, so look, I mean, a lot of the conversation has been around Trevor Lawrence, and yes, the Jets were trying to tank for Trevor, and or at least the front office is looking to tank for Trevor, not so much the coaches and the players, because coaches and players, they don't fucking tank. That's just they don't do that. They want to win versus the front office that has other plans. And the Jets front office failed to make their team bad enough to lose all of the games.
No, they didn't. Listen, they made their team historically bad. One of the worst football teams we have ever seen. And yet still not bad enough because another one of the worst football teams we've ever seen just happens to be playing this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is surreal because people have done the NFL research on this. You know, how frequently does a 1-15 team not get the number 1 overall pick? It's only happened once in like the modern era, I think. And it was in 2002 when the Carolina Panthers went 1-15. But the only reason why they didn't get the number 1 overall pick was because the Houston Texans were entering the league, and so they automatically got the number 1 overall pick as their expansion team. So no NFL team that has gone 1-15 before has gotten the 2nd overall pick without an expansion team being involved in the circumstance.
So now what's going to happen if both of these teams lose out?
Jaguars get it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, because it's because of the strength of schedule situation, which I think is meant to say, like, if your schedule is worse than the other guy and you have the same record, then you were worse than them, technically speaking.
Yes.
And so that's why you get the number 1 overall pick. Like, that's how the tiebreaker works.
Yep.
And we're gonna and they do have the system where in the draft where if you have the same record, you kind of cycle through the draft picks where kind of like the Jets would start the 2nd round and the Jaguars would start the 3rd round, stuff like that. But the number 1 overall pick was the story.
The number 1 overall pick is so big here.
Yeah. And I will say this. I think don't get me wrong, I think that Trevor Lawrence looks like he's going to be a real deal. Like, he's going to be a great quarterback, and it could be a shoo-in, and he could also be a bust. Who knows? But there are also, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. There's all these other quarterbacks. So and the Jets are going to have the 2nd overall pick. So it's like, I think there's a lot of Jets fans who are upset that they're not going to get Trevor. But it's not the end of the world, and the Jets have a shit ton of draft picks from trading away Jamal Adams.
Just imagine that narrative overall, though. Like, the Jets, this historically bad team doesn't win all season, wins at the 11th hour, which screws them over from getting the number 1 pick. They don't get Trevor Lawrence. They get another quarterback like Justin Fields, just as an example. And Trevor Lawrence busts, and Justin Fields is really good. Like,
imagine that, right? Imagine if that this. I think that there's a lot. Of course, we may look back at this 5-10 years from now and be like, "My God, did the Jets blow it by winning that Rams game?" But
right,
like, at the same time, there's also the chance that we're going to be sitting here and be like, man, the Jets got lucky. The Jets got fucking lucky. They got this really great quarterback out of the deal, and Trevor Lawrence didn't work out, or both quarterbacks work out, because there's not like there's not like a crazy shift. It doesn't have to be like a binary type situation here. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts, and it was so funny watching the memes on Twitter, and of how like the Jets won, but at what cost? Thanos memes, kind of coming out. It was glorious. I encourage anyone. I don't know if you have if you have Jets fans that you watch, I have two that I watch, or at least listen to. Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show. Dan Hanses host there on the NFL podcast. Listen to both of their reactions. It's glorious. It's beautiful in all its glorious ways. And as someone who has adopted the Jets as their second team, I do feel the pain of this situation, because it's like, that like you got so close to just securing the bag. But let's just calm down. You'll get through it, Jets. Let's see what happens. You just have to see what Joe Douglas does, and hopefully they get fucking rid of Adam Gase. I mean, if he goes on a fucking run and wins the next 2 games or something, and they keep Adam Gase, that's like the biggest fuck up the Jets have ever done.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. That's the Browns all over again. Because they went 1-15 the year before they went 0-16.
I guess what one of the victims of a Jets win streak at the end of the season would be the fucking Browns, of course. So there, go fucking figure. So there you go. That's that. But there was another upset. I do want to just mention it because it was surprising. We were filming the second part of our Deck the Halls table party podcast that I'm sure if you guys have not seen part 1, it is out now. It is excellent. We were filming part 2, and all of a sudden, while we were like, I think either in a break or something, Matt was like, "Hey, did you see the score in the game, in the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game?" And I was just like, "Yep, I see it." And it was the 27-17 victory the Bengals had over the Steelers. Everything turned topsy-turvy here, Matt. What the fuck happened?
Real fast for the Steelers. My God. I don't know what is going to happen with this team anymore, but there's something that I really want to happen, and I'll get into it later in the podcast.
100%. I know we've talked about it already, but yeah, I don't know what's happening with the Steelers. Their offense, I mean, specifically Big Ben has not looked good. The running game hasn't gotten its footing as of late, and the defense is not as good as it has been. I mean, I understand that people want to sit here and be like, well, no, the defense played relatively fine yesterday. Like, okay, it did, but again, it was against the Bengals, and they still gave up 27 fucking points.
27 points to the backup.
Right, to the third stringer.
To the third string.
So, like, I don't know,
and without their top running back.
Yeah, I mean, the James Conner not being there has also been, like, somewhat of a story, but, like, I don't even know if if he returns this week, I don't even know if that's going to be the big, boost in the arm that the Steelers team needs. It's scary right now for them, because it's, like, if they lose the next 2 games, which they could, it's against the Colts and Browns, who have both been relatively good as of late. If they lose those 2 games, I mean, you're going to limp into the playoffs, potentially as a road team, and who knows? I think this was a Steelers team that looks like it could have at least made it to the AFC Championship game, and now is maybe a wild card out.
They'd be lucky if they won the first round.
Yeah. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And other things happen. We'll get into it for the Week 16 picks, but yeah, it's just fun as hell. I'm so excited. We're in the penultimate week, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But we're gonna shift gears here for a little bit, have a little fun, because it's the holidays, folks, and we want to. We love, I love holidays. That's the main reason why I think I love Animal Crossing, because there's just holidays all the time that you can celebrate.
You excited for Toy Day tomorrow?
I am excited for Toy Day tomorrow. In fact, I actually, this is going to be a quick side conversation, but I'm excited for Toy Day tomorrow because based off of how I understand it, you don't have to talk to every single villager and figure out what they want before Toy Day anymore.
Oh, good.
Which was a fun thing in New Leaf, but it was also obnoxious as shit because you're trying to remember and keep track on a notepad. Okay, this person wants something orange. They want a appliance or whatever. Where I think that all that stuff is going to take place on Toy Day, as far as I'm understanding.
Is good. I loved the kind of brain teaser that the Thanksgiving thing offered.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. 100%. I've loved the fall holidays have been really kick ass and
so good
in my personal onion. All right. So we love doing the mascot debates. It's been a while since we've done them. And essentially what we've done in the past is we usually take NFL or VBBFL mascots. And we have pit them against each other in a scenario that isn't football, where it was horse riding or who would be the best secret agent or whatever. And so today, we're gonna do holiday mascots. We're gonna pull some of the figures that we know the most during these holiday seasons, and it's gonna be very Christmas leaning, but it's also just I also consider it just very pagany, right? Because a lot of this stemmed from paganism. Let's be fucking real, you Christians out there stealing people's traditions. God damn it. Sorry.
This is not an anti-Christian podcast.
No, it's not. That is not my intent there. I'm just saying, it originated in paganism. A lot of the Christmas, holiday, like the red and green, all that kind of stuff originated from paganism. But yes, so we have three holiday matchups, and we're going to start out with the Clauses. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Mr. Matt, you have your choice. Who would you prefer to argue on behalf?
I would love to argue for Mrs. Claus.
I like that. All right, so I'll take on Santa Claus. And who would win in a dance-off?
Okay, I feel less confident about my choice now, actually.
I know. I don't know. I think I like your choice. Okay. Do you want to go first, or would you like?
Yeah, I'll go first since I picked first. So, Mrs. Claus usually has more time on her hands than Santa Claus does. So I think she'd be more have more time in general to like learn new crafts, learn new hobbies.
Yes,
including dance, and she would definitely be more of a probably a more sophisticated like ballroom dance type. That she definitely like tries to get Santa to do, but Santa's too busy, all that stuff.
This is so sad.
Yeah, no, that took a darker turn than I thought.
Oh, you're good.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. I would say for Santa, and I feel like we have seen various scenarios of Santa getting there is times where Santa looks flat-footed. I feel like at times when they show it like during the holiday movies, sometimes where he's his older self, like he's just kind of like maybe like sidesteps here and there, like when he's just waving on like the float in the Thanksgiving Day parade, he just kind of looks like he's just shaking in place, which he has to because you're on a float, but like it seems like he might not be too into like a groove rhythm. But then you have other movies where Santa Claus, like I'm pretty sure I've seen like Santa Claus breakdance. I've seen Santa Claus just like absolutely like twerk it up on a dance floor. I think that Santa kind of represents like he's the epitome of like all of this like Christmas magic, and Christmas magic is like about like celebrating the good times, and I feel like that using that magic, Santa Claus is just going to be able to groove it up, really just absolutely demolish anyone, including his wife. I think that together they'll come together with a really nice number, but I think it'll be Santa Claus carrying the way.
All right.
What is our next matchup that we have listed?
Our next matchup is going to be Frosty the Snowman versus Jack Frost. Did you have a specific iteration of Jack Frost that you were thinking of?
When I wrote down Jack Frost, I think I was thinking of like the old cartoons.
Okay.
I don't know
that
as
stop
much
motion one.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Jack Frost, if I'm being quite honest. I just know that he is kind of like the evil Christmas figure of sorts. But I feel like it would in my role I would like to take on Frosty.
Okay.
My role as Frosty, just because I did my research on Frosty the Snowman for the Deck the Halls.
Yes.
the tabletop role play. So, and for this matchup, who would win in a marathon?
Ooh, in a marathon. Okay. Would you like to start then?
Yeah, I'll go. I don't love this one for Frosty, but I mean, although let me put it this way. I mean, listen to the song lyrics. Thumpity thump thump, thumpity thump thump. look at Frosty go. Like Frosty's he's just grooving all the way down to town, you know? He's speeding, even though he's not even on 2 feet, although the cartoon I think depicts him on 2 feet. But like he's able to move around. He's able to travel around a lot of places, you know. I think it's in the lore that like kind of Frosty kind of show up wherever he can. If he could do that, you know, he could definitely run a marathon. He could get from point A to point B really easy, especially being able to use the snow to his advantage. If there's a lot of snow around now, if we're talking a marathon on a regular road, maybe there's a problem. Maybe he melts a little bit. But I think with enough, you know, snow magic that whatever is built in within him, he'll be able to kind of keep that momentum across the finish line.
I cannot fucking find what movie Jack Frost is the bad guy in.
Was it? I thought that was the one of the old school movies. I'll help you out.
It is. I cannot find the name of it. I found the one from the Rise of the Guardians. I found the guy that Martin Short plays in the Santa Claus 3.
Right.
I found the Michael Keaton Snowman Jack Frost.
Okay. Is the personification of frost, ice, snow, sleet, winter, and freezing cold.
Yeah, but what movie is it?
No, I'm sorry. I was just reading the Wikipedia. There's the 1998 Frosty, Jack Frost. Is it dark?
That's not it.
That's the one with Michael Keaton. That's right. Fuck.
Okay, I think the one that we're thinking of, his name is Snow Miser.
Oh.
Not Jack Frost.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he's supposed to be Jack Frost, but they just called him something different?
I don't know. Are we thinking of this dude? I'll send you a link.
There's a very good chance. Yeah, I think so. I think that's maybe what we're thinking of.
This is the Snow Miser is a character from the Rankin/Bass television special, The Year Without Santa Claus. He controls the cold weather of the Earth, not unlike Jack Frost.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we can roll with it then, I guess. I get as close as we can. I mean, I think that's what it is. It's the personification of the iciness and the frostiness, and it is meant to have maybe like a little bit more of an evil thing versus the Frosty being like, I guess, the good guy in most circumstances.
So I'll start with the fact that most depictions of Jack Frost have legs and would be more well suited for a marathon in that regard.
I think that's a good start.
Yeah, but you know, he can also keep himself cool.
Mm-hmm.
With his snow powers, so he doesn't have to worry about like overheating. He can keep his he like running in the cold isn't always the best idea for your muscles, but he's used to it, so it's fine.
Sure.
I think that let's see. If he's in one of his snowmen form, then it's about even playing ground, but I don't recognize Michael Keaton as an actor, so
What, you never heard of whatever the fuck the bird cage?
Birdman?
Birdman, yeah. Wasn't that him? I forget.
That was him. I was also joking.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wanted to say something really weird.
Or you're like protesting Michael Keaton.
He's fine. He's fine. But you can also do the Elsa boy form, in which case he can kind of like run on ice. I think he can like make ice or something.
Did you say the Elsa boy form?
The Elsa boy.
What is
from Rise of the Guardians.
Oh yeah, the animated thing. Yes.
Boy
okay.
Elsa. Is that better? Elsa boy or boy Elsa?
Boy Elsa. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Gender bend Elsa.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I like that. I like that. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm getting distracted on Twitter from someone's like every Ace Attorney fan for the next 4 hours, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening with Ace Attorney? And
that's weird.
Now I'm curious about that. Anyways, sorry, that was a quick sidetrack.
Our last two mascots that are going to fight are Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Buddy the Elf. From Elf.
Yeah, because I really was I was struggling to try to figure out other mascots. I was like, fuck it, let's pull Buddy.
There's no other like more famous elf, so
100%. No, I know. Yeah. I think Buddy the Elf I think is up there amongst the Christmas mascots. All right, so who would you prefer?
I would love to fight for Rudolph.
You want to do Rudolph? Okay, I'll do Buddy the Elf, and oh my god, all right, I'm so fucked. Parkour.
Hit
me, Rudolph.
So I mean, so Rudolph is able to fly, which isn't necessarily like parkour, like flying from one thing to another isn't necessarily impressive, but if you can make it look like you're not flying and just jumping instead, that will look really cool, because part of the parkour is like the performance aspect to it, of course. He also, like, he's got that nose, it can glow, you can put on a light show while you're parkouring, that's even cooler. And he, like, Rudolph, like his occupation is like sort of physical labor, so he is, I think he's more physical than Buddy would be, just in terms of, like, he moves more often than Buddy would.
Yeah, I think that's all very fair, and it's very hard for me to come up with a good argument, but I'll try my best. I think that Buddy is probably, to give Buddy a little bit more credit here, I think he has been able to traverse difficult climates before. I mean, think about his journey to New York City. He traveled all the way from the Arctics, the North Pole, all the way down to New York City, and that included jumping across, the icebergs and going through the candy cane forest and the gumdrop mountains, or whatever the fuck it was, his story. Yep. and like, I do think that he has, like, flexibility. I think about the time that he rode an escalator while he was basically doing a split, completely by accident, because he had no idea what the fucking escalator was. But I think that he has a little bit more capability as a parkour, someone that could potentially do parkour versus the reindeer than we expect. And plus, he has. I think that he's been around Santa and he's been around the reindeer, where, like, I think that he's become so accustomed to elf culture, if he could be around the reindeers for a little bit, maybe he'll pick up some things from them as well and end up becoming the ultimate reindeer as well.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All good points.
Yeah, I still think Rudolph's gonna win.
Now if only Buddy didn't have a movie that got boring in the last half hour.
Wow. Wow. Shots fired at an all-time classic.
A lot of Elf is really good. I do not like the ending.
I like that. I like the take. I think I don't know if I agree with you necessarily, but I like the spiciness of it. I think that's a good, like especially, like, the whole, like, it's a refreshing debate, considering all we hear the debate during this time of the year is, like, whether or not Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Like, that, like, to me, this is a new, fresh debate. Like, does Elf actually get boring in the last 30 minutes or not?
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to attack Elf that much. The real enemy is A Christmas Story. the true pain in our asses is that fucking leg lamp. that's the real pain that we have to deal with. Throwback to Doc of Shame.
Yeah. Was it Doc of Shame that we ruthlessly attacked Christmas Story? Even though,
yes.
like, I've never seen it, so I really have no dog in the fight, but I endorse these ideas regardless.
Yeah, it was Doc of Shame.
All right, there's your holiday mascot debates. You let us know if there's another, whether we won, first of all, of any of those matches, but let us know if there's another holiday mascot that would kick ass in any of those three categories. And just to remind, it was dancing, it was a marathon, and it was parkour. So y'all hit us up with what you got, especially if it's from someone like, like other holidays too. If there's mascots from other holidays you want to pull in, please do so, because we're down to hear that discourse. It's fun. All right. Before we get to Week 16 picks, we have some VBBFL things to talk about. Week 6 was played, and boy, were we both so fucking tired that I didn't realize that I made a defender tackle our own quarterback at one point and didn't even acknowledge it.
Oh, fun.
Kratos shut down Mewtwo, and I completely...
And Kratos is on Mewtwo's team.
Yeah, they're on the same fucking team.
Nice.
Neither of us, like, I think both of us, like, zoned out during that part, and we're just like,
right,
cool.
It was a trip. If you listen to the replay, neither of us were totally into it.
Yeah,
it's fine. We still had fun.
Yeah, it was 1:00 for me, but it was still like I woke up like 15 minutes prior, so I was very much in a loopy state. But yes, we got it done. It was a lot of fun games this time around. We still haven't gotten overtime, but we had four very fun games overall. Let's get to the Week 6 recap. Would you like to start, Mr. Matt?
I would. So, starting out with East Chicago at Escondido, a wild Saturday kicked off with a matchup of 3-2 teams of different conferences. Escondido got the game rolling with a Kumatora touchdown to Phone Guy, and after a missed kick by the Artisans, Waddle Dee recklessly runs across the field to put East Chicago up 7-6. The Artisans begin to build momentum after a foxy lateral to Ness ends with a score, and Asgore piles on with a rushing touchdown to go up 20-7. But East Chicago, forever a comeback away, took over the second half of the game. It started with Toad running in a wide-open touchdown thanks to the Ice Climbers blocking. Pick took a snap and kept it, tying the game. Finally, the game-winning drive for the Blacksmiths is capped by a Toad to Waddle Dee lateral that ends with a score. I didn't realize there were 2 laterals in this game. East Chicago is 4-2, while Escondido sits at 500 after the 27-20 final.
All those backwards passes. Next up, the Weatherford Sheriffs at Brainerd Paladins. The Paladins, coming off the upset win over Perth Amboy, scores first with a Mewtwo sneak-in. Weatherford responds with Samus firing the football out of her cannon arm to Lucio for the touchdown. The first quarter ends with Faith Connors launching off the foot of Eggman to get into the end zone. Brainerd going up 14-6. The scoring continued in the second quarter with scores by Tracer, Rob, and Singe to have the game tied at 21 at the half. Jill Valentine and the Sheriff's defense stiffens up for the second half, not allowing a Brainerd score. Crash, spinning his way into the end zone, and a garbage time touchdown by Lucio caps off the 33-21 victory for Weatherford as they own the best record in the league at 5-1. Brainerd falls to 2-4.
All right, next up, Phoenix City at Mansfield, a rematch of Week 1. Phoenix City entered this game looking to start a win streak. An angry Enderman scored first as they teleported into the end zone with a ball in both hands. Mario fell into a pipe and turned into his 8-bit self, leading to 2 scoreless Mansfield drives. Still, the Weavers score at the end of the first half when Mario uses a Goomba as the ball to throw to Sonic for the inevitable score. Tied at 8-8, 1980's Mario throws it to Flappy Bird, who carries the Goomba in for the score. The Phoenix's Kamek continues his Christmas spirit and soars into the end zone, which leads to a 16-15 score after they successfully went for 2. After the teams go back and forth again, Mario returns to normal but uses a Power Star to score the last-second touchdown to win the game 28-22. Mansfield recovers from its shutout loss to go 4-2, while Phoenix City falls to 1-5.
And lastly, Anaconda Mountaineers at the Perth Amboy Privateers. 2 teams with retooled rosters battled it out in the final match of the day. Anaconda's defense showed up right away, with Silence proving to be a big pickup for the Mountaineers. More surreal, Chaz McFreely came to play for the Mountaineers as he threw a pass to Yoshi, who catches it without tongue to score. Perth Amboy put up its usual fight, with Octodad catching a touchdown with his suction cup tentacles and Sly Cooper rolling inside Prince of Cosmos Katamari past the goal line. But Jazardo and Lydia worked together to close the gap to 13-12 Privateers, and after injuries by Kirby and Sanders Cohen, the low-scoring affair ends with Commander Shepard finding Isabel for Anaconda's first game-winning score. Mountaineers win 19-13, moving to 1-5. Perth Amboy is now on a 2-game skid and falls into a 3-way division tie at 4-2. And that is your VBBFL Week 6 recap.
Perth Amboy is Pittsburgh Steelers. Discuss.
There's a chance. There's a very good chance there. The specifically, it seems like their offense is falling apart a bit. So yeah, it's kind of like that a bit. Yeah, no, that was a surreal moment to have Anaconda get their first win of the year, and it's fitting that Anaconda kind of built the momentum for the New York Jets to get their first win as well. I mean, that's just,
right.
It's just that, I mean, it just kind of, this was the weekend, for the underdog to finally win. Didn't work for Phoenix City, but luckily they already got their win, so they don't have to worry about it anymore. But there you go. And I forgot to mention Miss Pac-Man also made her debut. Went 1 for 2 on the kicks.
Yep.
So there you go. So very, very fun weekend. We'll be back after the new year, January 2nd most likely, but we will keep you informed on when week 7 will be played. So yeah, good stuff. It is time for Super Tackle Bros. I'm getting excited about this because I'm getting my well, first of all, because it's NFL playoffs, it's a lot of fun. But I'm gonna fish out my capture card probably within either tonight or tomorrow. I'm gonna hook it up to my Switch, see if it still works. Because if it does, I'll either be streaming the Smash matchups or I'll be filming it and posting it on YouTube. Then potential. I think streaming most likely. And we'll let you guys know what what those results are as we have the mascots in Super Smash Bros. Fighting against each other, and of course we'll figure out which Smash fighters are going to represent which mascot. That will be a fun discussion. But for now, we still need to find out which mascots are going to be in. We won't know for sure until the end of week 17. But for now, we have some scenarios about who could clinch this week. And let's start out right away, Matt. You have the floor for these playoff clinching scenarios.
Yes.
Let's start right out of the gate with Chomp, the Cleveland Browns mascot. My goodness, the Browns have a clinching scenario. Tell us about it.
Yeah, let's start out who's already clinched.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's break it down first.
Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs have clinched their division titles, so they will be hosting a game where the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the playoffs but have not clinched their division yet.
Yeah, Billy Buffalo clinched.
Yep.
And then, in the NFC, Blitz clinched for the Seahawks, but we'll talk about the NFC in a second.
All right. So, Cleveland Browns for Chomp to make it into Super Taco Bros. Cleveland needs to win, and then either Baltimore, Miami, or Indy need to lose.
Yeah, I think with this, I mean, I know we just saw what happened last week with the Jets, but Cleveland is definitely favored to win this game, should win this game. And it's not out of the question. It might be a little tough, because the teams that Baltimore, Miami, and Indianapolis are playing against, they're all teams that are kind of struggling as of late. But who knows? Anything could happen, and Cleveland. And it's also
Cleveland may want Indy to win anyway.
Right. That's a key factor that we'll break down in a little bit. But yeah, speaking of Indianapolis Colts, our good horse Blue, the horse.
Blue the horse.
He's gotta what's he gotta do to get involved in this brawl party?
So in order for Blue to get in there, Indianapolis needs to win, and then either Baltimore or Miami need to lose.
Okay, so it's very similar to Cleveland in this.
Very similar to Cleveland. They're like one notch down from Cleveland, though.
Right.
Essentially.
Right.
Like whatever Cleveland does not affect Indy at all.
Right. Well, Cleveland has the tiebreak because of their early matchup in like week 5 or 6 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that's why Cleveland is going to be ahead of them right now. Yeah. That's again. Might be a little tough to do that this week, but we'll see. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that Kansas City and Pittsburgh have already clinched, but what are their scenarios for this week? What could they do this week?
So Kansas City can get the very coveted first round bye, of which there was only one per conference this year, if they win or Pittsburgh loses or Buffalo loses.
Yeah,
all or scenarios. So that's very good for Kansas City.
That's very interesting because I thought that Kansas City already had a tiebreaker over Buffalo, just because of the head-to-head matchup.
Let me look. So KC is, where are they on this?
Like in terms of the standings?
So looking for their record. So they're 13-1. Buffalo is 11-3. So if Buffalo wins out, they would be 13-3, and Colts would be 13-3 as well. So,
wait,
yeah,
Colts would be 13-3.
Chiefs, I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, if the Chiefs go 13-3, they head to head against Buffalo. I don't think that Kansas City would get the Kansas City would have the tiebreaker, but I think it's the fact that if Pittsburgh also got to 13-3, and it was like a 3-way tie at 13-3.
Gotcha.
I think then Pittsburgh would have like a tiebreaker between the three of them. I don't know what I don't know how all that works exactly.
That's a weird situation.
It's very I think it's all like I think what the number 4 bulletin point that's there. The KC clinches strength and victory tiebreaker over Pittsburgh or Buffalo.
Yep.
There's something weird there about all those circumstances. What about Pittsburgh? What's going on?
So Pittsburgh, all they have left to do is clinch the AFC North title, and that's if they win or Cleveland loses.
All right, so now let's discuss this. Is this the scenario that you want desperately to have Cleveland win out here?
I absolutely want Cleveland to win the division.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Because it would be so 2020 that like the Cleveland Browns would win their division and no one would be there
not only win their division against the Steelers, the perennially good team.
Yeah.
After they start 11-0.
Yeah. It would be wild. It would be absolutely wild, and it's possible because again, the Browns have the easier path to 11-5. The Steelers don't. Steelers have to deal with a Colts team that's very good, and then the Browns, and there's absolutely a scenario here that the Cleveland Browns are going to host a playoff game. Not that it's guaranteed. Steelers could absolutely have a bounce back game. I'm not counting that out right now, but it's been a little tight for them. They've been playing not so great, the Steelers. So we'll see. All right, and then what about T-Rack? T-Rack, he tried last week, didn't work out. So what's happening this week for the Titans?
So they can clinch the AFC South division if they win and Indy loses. They can also get into the playoffs if they win or Miami or Baltimore lose.
And the Titans this week have the Packers.
That's not going to be very easy for them.
It's not going to be easy. They might have to wait a week, but you do have the luxury of having either Miami or Baltimore. The Giants, Ravens, and Dolphins, Raiders are two of the biggest matches in the AFC this week, just because of all the implications that it has for all the other teams, in the that are playing this week. So are looking for playoff berths. So it's going to be interesting to watch. All right, what about the NFC? What's going on there?
So in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers have already clinched the division, and the Saints and Seahawks are both in the playoffs.
Okay,
so all right, three teams in this field as well.
Yes, that's Blitz, the Gumbo Sir Saint pairing, and Cheese. Question mark.
Cheese Monster.
Yep. Big Red of the Arizona Cardinals can clinch this week. What do they have to do to make it?
So they can clinch if they win and Chicago loses.
All right, so Chicago has Jacksonville.
Yes.
In this week. But the Cardinals have the 49ers in this one.
Yes.
So the win's looking likely. The Chicago loss is maybe a little bit more tough for them.
Yep.
So yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Good overall, but not guaranteed.
Yes. Green Bay Packers, what's up with them this week?
With the Packers, they can clinch the first round bye. So the coveted first round bye that the Chiefs are also looking to clinch if they win and Seattle loses. Seattle currently in second place.
Yeah, Seattle faces the Rams.
Yep. So it could happen. That one's more of a toss-up to me. So
that is a bit more of a toss-up.
And to be fair, Tennessee has a hard time against Green Bay. Green Bay is also going to have a hard time against Tennessee.
So. That's a great Sunday night football game.
Absolutely.
100%. I'm very much looking forward to that. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch for sure. All right. The Rams, their mascot, and I like this name here, Rampage.
Rampage is a good name.
Yeah. Wait, what's up with the Rampage this week?
So Los Angeles can clinch a playoff berth if they win, or Chicago loses, or, strangely enough, Arizona wins.
That's so freaking strange. I don't understand.
That math is just wild. I think it's probably has to do with tiebreaker related things.
It has to be.
You know what it is? If Arizona wins, that makes that I think
it would eliminate Chicago and the Vikings.
It doesn't directly eliminate Chicago, but it makes it so hard for Chicago to get in that the Rams are automatically in.
Right, and I also think that the Rams, it might be a strength of victory type thing too. It might be that because it could be that they
also beat Chicago, so
right. But the Rams beat the Cardinals.
Yep.
And I think that with an Arizona win, that might boost that strength of victory resume. Potentially, or strength of schedule resume. However, I don't even know what the fuck the difference is.
Whatever it is, if Arizona wins their game, no matter what the Rams do, the Rams are in the playoffs.
No, I know. No, I'm not. I wasn't trying to dispute that.
I know.
It's just I'm very curious about what that whole tiebreaker scenario was. New Orleans Saints, they have a clinching scenario this week as well.
Yeah, so they can clinch their division, get that home game if they win, or Tampa Bay loses.
And what about Seattle?
Blitz can clinch their division if they win.
Damn right. All right, Captain Fear, baby.
Captain Fear, yes.
Give me. It's the fucking mascot measuring contest winner right there. What you got with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And Captain Fear.
So Captain Fear can get into the playoffs if Tampa Bay wins or Chicago loses. Everyone's gonna be watching that Chicago game.
That's what I mean.
Sadly, watching this Chicago game.
Chicago Jacksonville is the biggest. Is I think the biggest game of the
for
NFC
the NFC.
Week.
Yeah,
it's wild. All right, and what's left here is the Washington Football Team, you could give the scenario first if you'd like.
So miraculously, it is possible for the NFC East division to be claimed, and we know who wins the division.
Yep.
If Washington wins and the Giants lose, Washington Football Team is in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's wild. And if they don't win, or let's say the Giants win their game, they're gonna both still be alive going into week 17. But the Eagles Cowboys game is a de facto elimination game. Whoever wins could still be alive if Washington loses.
Yes,
but if whoever loses is guaranteed elimination from the playoffs. So so Dallas and Philadelphia ends up being a very interesting game as well. In that sense, that's why the Washington Football Team got moved to 4:00 is for Philly Dallas to matter. Essentially, that
makes sense. That makes sense.
That's why that schedule change happened. So Washington Football Team, it's very strange because this team had a racist mascot. And then now has no mascot. And so what can we do to fulfill the Washington dream here? Well, I looked to their fellow Washington sports teams partners. And so I looked first at the Capitals and Nationals, and they both have eagle mascots. And the one was called Screech, and it literally looks like the Eagles just screaming perpetually, constantly, and then the Capitals just have it's an eagle named Slapshot. I was like, okay, that's boring. I then went to the Washington Wizards, and there's the more respected mascot known as G-Man, who is just like a dude in like a body sock. It looks like
lovely.
With like sunglasses and in a basketball outfit. It's very strange, the whole thing. But people like him a lot more than the other mascot, the one that I feel like best represents maybe the Washington Football Team, and that is G-Wiz.
I am looking at G-Wiz right now, and I am a little bit terrified.
It looks like a knockoff Philly Fanatic, and it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I I propose that G Wiz is the Washington football team representative.
I am okay. I approve this motion.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
He can like recolor himself.
Sure. We could have him be like
maybe not because we just got over the whole like their skin being red thing.
That's true.
So
the meaning behind that burgundy is a little rough right now. It's like, okay, we'll keep it blue red. We'll keep it blue red.
Yep. Keep it that way.
But yeah. So that's. I was just like, okay, maybe let's have G Wiz be the representation here. So we'll keep track of G Wiz.
It is still hilarious to me that the Cardinals winning gets the Rams in the playoffs.
That is wild. That circumstance is just absolutely insane, and that's what's so fun about clinching scenarios. Though you have all these little things that can happen, and if you move the pieces right, we're all Steve Kornacki. At the bottom, at the core, football fans are just all Steve Kornacki. We all have imaginary khakis on right now instead of sweatpants or no pants, depending on how comfortable you are in your household. And we all have those imaginary khakis on right now. We're playing with our big boards. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
I love that they brought him on Sunday Night Football. I think that's
it's such a good inclusion.
Such an excellent excellent addition to the crew. He's a national treasure, that man. All right, that is Super Tackle Bros. So without any further ado, 16 games and a lot of Friday and Saturday games to talk about.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Would you like to start us off?
Let's talk about how we did last week though.
Oh shit. That's right. We had 3 disagreements again, and Matt once again won that matchup head to head. So Matt went 12-4 overall. He got the guarantee and the team chaos.
Yes.
Got the 1 point. And on top of that, so that means 9 points overall goes to the record. I went 11-5, not bad. 6 points to my
Respectable record.
Yes, both of us really good records this year. We're both really doing well with our picks. Picking record overall. If I'd be curious. If I could go back to last year's predictions. If I could scroll down to where we were last year. We were at 155, 100, and 150, 105. So
we're doing.
Was
it final scores?
Yeah, those were our week post week 17 scores.
Yes.
So
I'm currently I have more correct answers in week 15 than I had in week 16 last year.
Yeah.
So I'm beating myself a week in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's basically it. Like we should both. I don't know. There's a chance that I might not be able to catch up to my record, but there's a good chance that you will. And you'll be able to beat your record for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, good job this year, my friend. So that right now where things stand, you're at 142.81 with the 1 modifier right now. And you're at 62 points. I'm at 139.84, -3 modifier, 52 points overall. So 10-point difference going into this week. Very interesting. All right, now hit me with your Christmas matchup here.
Christmas matchup. We see the Minnesota Vikings take on the New Orleans Saints. Vikings kind of been pushed out of the playoffs, so it's not playoff hunt, so it's not much of a Merry Christmas for them, where the New Orleans Saints trying to get as high of a seed as they can and try to clinch the division. What's going to happen? Who's going to have a Merry Christmas?
I think the New Orleans Saints will, because I think that it's been rough for them past 2 weeks. They're having lost to the Eagles and then the Chiefs. But I just think it's too good of a team to let the Vikings beat up on them right now. In New Orleans, these two teams play each other very tough. As we've seen in their playoff matchups over the last few years. So, not certainly not a guarantee, but I feel pretty confident that the Saints will bounce back in this one.
I agree with you, and I want to point out that since this game is on Christmas, I want to point out the fact that the song "Sleigh Ride." And I'm going to combine the song Sleigh Ride with the fact that this game is on Fox. Because, come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Oh my fucking god.
Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go.
Oh god. It's going to make us feel like they're playing Sleigh Ride when someone's injured on the ground. Like, oh my god, I didn't realize how close that was. Jesus. All right. Wait, so you're going Saints as well, you said?
Yes, I'm going Saints.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
My discussion was the sleigh ride thing.
Yeah, no, that just threw me off there. Wow. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Detroit Lions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, they're so strange. They have struggled in both of their games since their bye, but have bounced back in both of them and won both of them, and now they face a Lions team that is also drifting into obscurity, but could also put up a fight. Maybe. I don't know. This is all very strange. What do you think about this team? And
the Buccaneers are a strange team, but Tom Brady's not going to miss the playoffs, so I'm going to go with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think they take care of business here as well. It would be a stunning loss.
Saturday game.
Yeah, this is your first of 3 Saturday games at 1 o'clock. Only 2 of these will be televised. Next game that we'll talk about is going to be streamed online, not on TV.
Yeah, this is strange. The San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals are going to stream on Prime Video. The 49ers coming off of a close loss to Dallas that kind of kicked them out of their slight playoff chances as well. With the Arizona Cardinals trying to get in and clinch their spot. What do you think is going to happen?
I think the 49ers are, like, we want to keep on picking them in these games because you want to have confidence in them, but I think the quarterback situation is drifting into really bad territory. Just, they're not going to have Nick Mullins this week. They're going to roll with CJ Beathard. Jimmy Garoppolo is probably not going to come back this year, and I just, this team hasn't really been the same since they played the Rams earlier in the month. So I think the Cardinals take care of business. They have more at stake in this game. And I know it's been the home for both of these teams for the last few weeks, but I think Arizona being more accustomed to their environment will also play a factor. And by the way, it does say Prime Video there. If those who don't have Amazon Prime, don't worry, you can watch it on Twitch as well for free.
Oh, there you go. NFL people don't know what Twitch is, so that's why they didn't write it.
There you go.
So I agree with you. I think the Cardinals are probably going to win this one, but I had no one else to chaos, and I want to see the Bears get into the playoffs, so I chaos the 49ers.
There you go. Hey, you know what? Agenda, man. We got to play our agenda into this a little bit. It's right. Okay. I completely get that. So 49ers and Cardinals is a disagreement there. Next up, the Miami Dolphins at the Las Vegas Raiders. This is intriguing because this could be a matchup between Marcus Mariota and Tua. We do not know yet. That could be 2 Hawaiian quarterbacks going head to head. But even still, you have the Dolphins that are looking to stay in the playoff picture, and the Raiders that are trying to get into the playoff picture in any way possible, even though it may just be a last-ditch effort to try to do so. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to take care of this one. They're really hungry to get in the playoff hunt. The Raiders have kind of fallen out of it, but could still put up the fight. I'm going to lead the side of the Dolphins, though.
I think it could be a trap game for Miami, but I've loved the way their defense has played as of late. Obviously, you want more out of their offense, but I think that part of what their problem last week was not having a lot of their key players. I think that they'll be better this week. I don't know how much healthier they're going to be this week, but I imagine that they'll be able to be more consistent in this matchup. So I'm going Miami as well.
Alrighty. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Kansas City Chiefs. Will the Chiefs get their first round bye? Will the Falcons prove that they can play football anymore?
This is always a strange one because I feel like the Falcons they've pulled some strange shit before, but I am so confident in this Kansas City Chiefs team. You know, like I love Mahomes. I think they take care of business. I'm pretty confident about the Chiefs winning this.
I am very confident about the Chiefs winning this. They are a good football team.
Yep, 100%. Next up, the big one: Chicago Bears at Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, the Chicago Bears, they're on a roll. They've won 2 in a row now. They're looking a little bit more consistent on both sides of the ball. And maybe that's going to lead to another easy victory here against the Jacksonville Jaguars team that got steamrolled by the Baltimore Ravens last week, and are on track to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think that the Jaguars are going to get their Christmas wish, and the Bears are going to win this game. The Bears have been steamrolling on offense, especially on the run game, which is weird for me to say, but when the Bears are facing a bad defense, they play well. And Jacksonville doesn't have a good defense, so I think the Bears are going to win.
Yeah, I think the Bears are gonna take care of business here, but
are you shitting me?
I know you're gonna hate me for this, but here I've been hearing this call from the Jets fans that they're all on the Minshew mania train, and we don't even know if Minshew's gonna start. First of all, we've heard rumors about Minshew or Mike Lennon playing, whatever. I think it would just fit this Bears season so well that after starting out 5-0, they go on this
5-1.
5-1, excuse me. They just go on this awful losing streak. And then they start to bounce back and things are looking good, and then they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It would be insane if that happened, but just for the Jets fans out there, I'll give you your Christmas gift and give the Jacksonville Jaguars a dub in this matchup as my Team Chaos.
I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, it could work out because it's a pick in my favor, but
it could 100% work out. They could.
That's why it's a chaos.
It's a Team Chaos. Are you? Or yeah, it's my chaos. It's my chaos pick. Yeah. So I'm. This is only because like you said, there wasn't really any strong Team Chaos picks for this week, but I also think that Jacksonville, with the exception of last week, they have really close games as of late. Like they've had they have these young defensive stars that have played well, and these young offensive players that have done a relatively good job. James Robinson was out, I believe, last week. It could be back this week. I don't know. I'm just saying the Bears have fallen apart before. Why not? Why not? You know?
Yeah.
I know you don't want it to happen. I know it's going to really break your heart if that happened. You don't want the Bears in the playoffs, but you know, this is just how the games go, I guess. You're up.
I'm next
for your pick.
Cincinnati Bengals take on the Houston Texans. Bengals off of their fresh win against the Steelers, and the Texans had a close loss against the Colts. How do you think this game is going to turn out?
I think the Texans take care of it. I know the Bengals had a nice game. Trust me. I give them credit, tip my hat to them. But I still, I'm looking at who's the best player in this game, I'm going to trust Deshaun Watson constantly. And I think they take care of it against the Bengals team that had again, a stellar game, but I don't know if they can repeat it for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think the Texans are going to take care of this pretty handily.
There you go. Another big matchup here. The Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets. Jets coming off their first win of the season. And now they have the Cleveland Browns, who are also just trying to get into the playoffs. People wrote the Browns into the playoffs almost immediately earlier this month when they got to 9 wins, and it was like, well, hold on, there's still some games that need to be played, but this easy game here should go a long way as to getting to confirming them into the playoffs. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that the Browns are going to win this game because the Browns are a good football team, and I want them to win the division.
Yeah, I agree. This should be a smooth sail, man. This should work out. I put faith in the Cleveland Browns in this one, and God, please, Browns, don't fall apart here. Just don't fall apart here. Don't be the Rams. Please don't be the Rams. here.
God, I need the Browns to win this game.
Yeah.
All right, probably the matchup with the biggest playoff implications overall this week. The Indianapolis Colts take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. My pick should be obvious based on what I've been saying this entire podcast, but What do you think?
I most likely I'm gonna roll with you here because I need to see just how we were doubting the Steelers team and we started team chaosing against the Steelers team, and it ended up now that they are down. They've now not won since their Ravens game. I think it's to say now we need to see them prove it. We need to see them prove that they can be a contender, that they can get back into the mix, because right now it's just not the case. I'm going with the Colts, and I'm very confident about it. I'm guaranteeing the Colts in this matchup.
Yes. I'm going with the Colts as well because I really, really just want to see the Steelers lose out because it's funny to me.
It brings me joy.
It brings me joy, and I think the Colts are a really good team with a good defense and a solid offense and they're going to do great against this team that just lost to the Bengals.
Yep. It's insane, dude. It's absolutely insane. The New York Giants at the Baltimore Ravens. Giants, though, that fever dream of them being an NFC East title, NFC East champion is starting to just fall out of their hands. And the Ravens are on a complete upswing, having won their last 3 games here, trying to make a charge into the playoffs. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think that the Ravens are in a really good spot, and unfortunately, the Giants, this just isn't their year. Yep. Not that it's been their years very often. It's not this one, and the Ravens are going to win.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think the Ravens are going to win. I just don't think the offense is good enough for the Giants to overcome any issues. The defense is fun, but even the defense struggles at times. It's just. It's just they're not in good shape to capture this title, and I will gladly concede to the Washington football team. And what has been overall like a nice turnaround story for the coach and for the players. Really everything else around the organization is not very nice, and you don't really want to root for them in this whole thing. But I'm happy for Ron Rivera, and I'm happy for guys like Alex Smith and this really good defense. Like I hope that, and we'll talk about them in a second here. I really hope that they can clinch this division up this week.
All right, next up we have the Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. Both teams at 5-9. I think at this point just fighting to not be the last place team in the division.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
This was actually I think my toughest one to pick because I have no idea what to think of either of these teams at this point. Both have had like some competitive moments here and there in recent weeks. I'm picking this because I love Justin Herbert, man. He's just so much fun. I'm picking the Chargers just out of pure bliss for that super accurate quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chargers too, but hope that Justin Herbert doesn't have too good of a game because I am facing him in fantasy this week.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't mean to praise him too much to root against your team. That sucks because otherwise if you don't have that fantasy implication, you don't have to worry about facing them. You could just like take in Justin Herbert, but now you're like, all right, please just throw like 3 interceptions against this Broncos secondary, please.
Something like that.
Yeah, 4
Broncos
interceptions.
play good defense.
Yeah.
please for me.
Next up, the Carolina Panthers at Washington football team. So like we discussed, Washington football team can get this NFC East division with a win and a Giants loss. We both predicted that a Giants loss will happen. Do we both agree that Washington will win this game?
Is that implying that you are agreeing that Washington's going to win this game? Because I'm one of the 2 parts of agreeing that Washington will win.
I'm asking you if you think that Washington will win. So that's
yes,
a yes.
Washington will win.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm with Washington here. I do like Panthers have been such a nice story this year. It's been fun seeing them kind of like have their moments here and there, but ultimately it just has not been their year. I don't think that they're going to bounce back in this game. Either. I have too much faith in the Washington defense. What was your opinion? I don't know if you were following this about the Dwayne Haskins strip club fiasco.
Fuck that guy.
Him and like it was him yesterday with that news coming out, and then today James Harden fucking like went to a strip club. Like what is happening?
Like,
we're just
guys. Look. I know you're rich.
Sure.
You still can't be idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but even like it's just like, dude, like just wear a fucking mask. I mean, at the very least, I do think that I don't think any of those strip clubs should be open during this time period. But if they are, fucking at least show some semblance of protocols, that are being followed, and that was out the window too. It's wild. It's wild. But let's hope that it's Alex Smith starting this weekend, and Alex Smith gets the clinching victory for Washington here. Next up,
the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. Both these teams technically still alive, but that can be dashed with a loss in this game. What do you think is going to happen?
This was also a tough one to pick, because this is two NFC East teams that are, that they're trying to stay alive. I think this is the end for the Dallas Cowboys at the very least. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts has played well as of late. The team has looked a little bit better, a little bit more fun. And yes, the Cowboys have been winning their games. Granted, they have been winning their games as of late. They got 2 in a row at this point. But I'm going to put my faith behind Philadelphia Eagles and their Super Bowl winning head coach, even though I know a lot of Philly fans are sick of him. I'm sticking with Philly.
I'm actually going to defer.
Okay.
Not because I like the Cowboys or what they're doing in Dallas, but just because I think it's how the dice are going to roll out.
Sure. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's I don't have much of a reason. Neither team is winning the division. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, so next up, another big NFC East clinching scenario here. The Los Angeles Rams at Seattle Seahawks. Rams. Oh boy, Rams. Coming off of that loss against the Jets, which is words you never expected to hear for this year. Take on the Seahawks, who got by the Washington football team, even though got a little dicey at points with their offense kind of slowing down in the second half. But regardless, both these teams looking to have a strong performance against the other. What do you think is going to happen in the NFC West Showdown?
So the Seahawks haven't been playing as lights out as they were at the start of the season, but their defense is still good, and this is kind of the point where Russ usually starts turning it around and becomes a good football player again.
100%.
And I think it would be just even more embarrassing for the Rams to lose to the Jets and then lose again. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and I wanted to do a ballsy guarantee too. I had this plan beforehand, but I'm going to guarantee the Seahawks. Yes.
I started typing in Seahawks under your guarantee list because I was just like, I felt it coming, because I knew that you had a lot of confidence in Seahawks. You like the Seahawks, and the fact that the Rams lost to the Jets,
is laughable.
Yeah, I can't. I wanted to pick the Rams in this game, but it is just, that's the only thing that's hanging over them right now. The fact that you lost to the Jets, I cannot, in my right mind, pick you to win this football game. So I'm picking the Seahawks as well, in this one.
Excellent. Our Sunday night matchup, can't wait to watch this game. The Tennessee Titans at the Green Bay Packers. Both teams trying to cement more stuff in the playoffs. Both teams really want to win. Who do you think is going to in this one?
Yeah, this was a very hard one to pick, but I'm leaning Packers here. I just think that they have been very good as of late. Yep. The offense has been so legit. The defense, I mean, they the last time they gave up 30 points was against the Colts a few weeks back, and that could be. I mean, look, this is the best offense that they have faced, so it could be a very tough matchup for the Packers defense. They're not amazing, but I love the way the Packers have been playing, and I do love the Titans too, and that's what makes it so hard. I'm gonna go Packers here.
It is interesting to note that their past two losses the past two wins have been 1-score wins against the Lions and Panthers.
I know. It's weird, but I also I think that those games though were also like the Packers went up early, like big early on the Panthers. I think that was just kind of like a comeback game, garbage time comeback for the Panthers in week 15, whatever it was last week.
Yeah. I really want to pick the Titans, but I'm not going to.
No,
I'm gonna stick with the Packers.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah,
they find Wayne. They're able to win games consistently. They're probably going to win this one, but it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. I also I forgot to make this one point too. The Titans defense just has this really is much worse than the Packers defense, and I just worry sometimes about some of their matchups and how they're going to deal with like really high caliber offenses. So that's another reason why I'm picking the Packers in this one.
Yep. Also, and this is another like let's get the Bears into the playoffs scenario. If the Packers win here and get that first round bye, they might sit their players week 17.
There you go. Again, yeah, work your magic. You know, you gotta make it happen. Last but not least, the Buffalo Bills at New England Patriots. This game probably looked a lot better before the season started. What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, I think the Bills are gonna win just fine.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta acknowledge it because it's been a storyline since the beginning of us doing podcasts together. This is the first time we're going to have a playoffs without the Patriots in it. First time that we have not seen them win the division. We've saw the Bills win the AFC East. Wild. It's just a wild moment for us to see that happen. I think with this moment, it kind of, I'm like, okay, I think I said that I was going to let down my guard about the Patriots, but that, I ended up rooting for them to lose out of the playoffs for this season. I think now I need to really start to let my guard down. Like, okay, Patriots are just one of us now. Now they're going to be a new, they're just one of the teams. They're no longer on this pedestal. I'm not going to look at them any differently anymore.
Now it's the Chiefs that you're going to do that for.
Soon it's gonna get there. It will get there. I'm loving the Chiefs right now. I'll be excited for them to get their second championship, but then it'll be a turn. It will be a heel turn very fucking quickly, I think, for all of us. At the end of the day.
Yep.
But yeah, there you go. So week 16, once again, 3 disagreements that we have.
2 of them being our chaos.
2 of them being our chaos,
and the third one involving the Cowboys. Like it was.
Yeah, we just always want to disagree on those Cowboys matchups, huh?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's the penultimate week here, folks. This is so exciting. I did start to work on potential playoff matchups, but I didn't do it as hardcore as I did in past few years, just because I didn't feel like it. It's all just been super lazy from my end.
That's fine.
But yeah, it's right now. It's the Browns. I had a scenario where it looks like the Browns can get as high as a 2 seed.
Hell yeah.
In this, and if they win the division, they can't be a 4 seed because no matter what, they have a tiebreaker over the Colts and Titans. Because they beat both of them, so they can. Yeah. So they'll either be a 2 or 3 seed. Steelers can't be a 7 seed. I learned because
that makes sense.
Of Dolphins,
they still have a good record.
Yeah, Dolphins, Ravens, tiebreakers as well come into that. Thought that was interesting. The entire NFC East is just located in the 4 seed, and they're nowhere else.
It is impossible for them to be anywhere else.
They can't. Yeah, yeah. It is wild. And the Bears still have a shot at all 3 wildcard spots, including the 5 seed. But that could all change this weekend if they lose.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens there. Vikings could only get a 7 seed.
Yes.
Also, that because just how tiebreakers work. So yeah, I'll have a whole list of potential playoff matchups next week for us to riddle through. And that may be our middle segment. But of course, we'll also have our Week 16 recap, our Week 17 season finale preview, regular season finale preview. Maybe some New Year's resolutions. Who knows? But regardless, folks, we thank you for, if you're watching this the day that it comes out, we thank you for spending part of your Christmas Eve or your holiday with us, and we thank you so much for listening this year. It has been a blast, doing all this as per usual.
Please go check out Table Party. We talked about it a bit earlier, but we recorded us playing the game A Fight Before Christmas. It is fantastic and one of the wildest things that we have ever done. Yeah.
If you want to watch a bunch of kooky characters try to kill Santa, it's your destination. That's where you want to go. It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Did you upload Dock of Shame, the new episode?
All Dock of Shame episodes currently recorded have been out. Last one was updated like a week ago.
Okay, I forgot that we had initially planned on recording. We didn't end up doing so. I forgot that that's why we will get around to doing Dock of Shame very soon. And Gaming Coop, expect probably within the next week we will have Gaming Coop out very soon, which will be all about the best games that we played this year, our favorite games that we played this year. So, again, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoy your holiday weekend, and we will see you next week.
Good night and good snowball.
Wow.
Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.